Welcome to EIP Editing Office Hour Meeting 13. I have shared agenda in chat. We have a few pull requests added here for discussion. We are joined by a couple of authors who would like to discuss their proposal. Some of them are new to maybe understand the process. So maybe Sam, if you can pull up your screen and we can start looking into the proposal. We can start with the first PR number 6506.
$6506.
I shared the link in the chat.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Yes, so I am here mostly to kind of find out what the process is about getting this included and to see what the next steps are. I have made all of the recommended changes that the editors requested formatting wise and structure, and I added some other stuff as well in the comments, and so I'm just trying to figure out what the process looks like.
Yeah, so it's just waiting for somebody to look at it, so probably me.
Yeah, no problem. So one of the comments that I got when I submitted the initial pull request was about reference implementation. I built a proof of concept, made a proof of concept repo that implements this standard. It's not included in this markdown file because they said it shouldn't be. So it's attached in the comment history of the pull request as well.
Okay, yeah. If it's reasonably sized, you can put it in the assets directory.
It is not, I guess. So,
okay.
So the actual like interface, the actual like defined interface is included in this file.
Yep.
But I have an actual like Solidity implementation with like Solidity files and test case and scripts and stuff. That's in its own repo because those files are big.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because like we do encourage you to put a reference implementation in the proposal if you can. But if it's huge, then yeah, it's best to leave it elsewhere.
If you scroll down later, you'll see the defined interface with the functions. Yeah,
Yep.
so like there, and I define all of that. What that looks like in terms of like an actual Solidity implementation that like does all of the things that this EIP describes, that's in its own repository.
Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah. So these events here, these are like code snippets, right? So they should be in backticks as well.
Okay.
Super small knit.
So all the stuff past all the Wallinator tests or like stuff that y'all do, but I can go and change those as well.
Yeah, it's just for like style and consistency. It won't block merging it. It's just the next time you make a commit, try to remember to do that.
Yeah, no problem. I didn't know if they needed backticks because they were headers, but
yeah, if it's code like a snippet of code, they should be in backticks even if they're in headers, because sometimes if you don't do that, it messes up the spell checker, and then if you do it for some of them but not all of them, then it's inconsistent. So it's better if it's code just to put it in backticks.
Okay, yeah, like I said, it passed all the formatting checks, but I can just add those as well.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. Like
I got you. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And this all looks good. Escrowed government incentive. Cool. Good. And then okay. Okay. Chains. Okay. Yeah, this is looking really good. This is YAML, I assume, right?
Yeah, I just copied whatever the template was.
Yeah, it's just might as well indicate what it is. Then
I
this will
copied
just
it. I copied it from the ERC 4626 version.
okay. Yeah.
So what do you can you elaborate on what you mean by YAML there for me, just for my reference?
Oh, it's the like markup or not markup, the language that this is. This looks like YAML. So.
Yeah, no, it is YAML. I'm just wondering, like, do you want me to say something or how do you want me to?
Oh no, it's just if you put the indicator of what language it is along with the backticks here, it'll highlight it as YAML. So
Oh, I
just,
didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Good to know.
Yeah, all of these things that I'm adding here, I'm probably just going to commit myself. So don't even worry about them.
No problem.
Claim incentive, mesh review, good, 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 great. And then this is also YAML. Okay. Oh, is there a space before that? Is that? Okay, I'm not sure how that'll render. Hopefully it'll render correctly. Okay, verify. That looks good. Okay, function trace.
There's a lot of events.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not unusual. Okay, modify claimer, verify vote, function use, basement specific. Okay, good. Dispute initiated. Okay, once a dispute for your incentive has been filed. Okay. No, this is looking really good. This is written the way a standard should be written. So
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just copied from 4626 because that's very well written.
Okay, dismissed. So I guess while I'm doing this, have you been like, do you have anybody in mind for who you'd like to talk to for like getting a review? Who do you think your like users are going to be? Who are you going to integrate with? Those kind of questions.
Yeah, so in terms of like actual review, I'm not sure the target audience has been DAOs. I've been in conversations with Redacted and Hidden Hand primarily.
Okay.
But this is written particularly for, I guess, generalized for any DAO to implement. Particularly ones that have on-chain voting is, well, I guess ones that have on, it's applicable to ones that have on and off-chain voting. So right now my focus is on on-chain voting, so, but it's applicable for anyone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because so you said you're curious about the process. So after this is merged as a draft, it'll be this is going into this draft, right? Yeah, okay. It's up to the authors, so you guys, to figure out who to talk to in the community to get reviews from outside of your team. And then once you're satisfied that you've had enough review, you can move. Once once it's completed, you can move it into review, like the proposal itself. Then you can get reviewers, and once you're satisfied that it's been reviewed by anybody who might have an interest in the EIP, then you can move it into the last call status, and that's entirely up to you when you want to do those moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So luckily, it's just me.
Okay. Yeah.
On this, and I have been the stakeholders and people I've been talking to have been in, I guess I've been in contact with them for several months as I've been working on this. So I guess once they've already signed off on like the content. So I guess once the formatting is done, it should be good to move it.
Cool. Yeah. So is this something you'd expect to make it into like Open Zeppelin or?
Potentially would be really good. Yeah, I'm picturing some kind of a standard library for DAOs to be able to implement, and then you just implement like one function specific to your DAO.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not really sure how I would go about getting that into like Open Zeppelin. I'm just working on this as like a master's thesis, but
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I think we have some contacts there that we could talk to.
cool.
Um,
Yeah. So if you look in the comment history down below, there's a proof of concept implementation with a full like testing suite with proof of concept.
okay, yeah, that's perfect. I'll just add these changes and then should be good to merge.
Awesome. And so when you merge, it goes into what? It goes into this repo, but that doesn't mean it's actually approved, right?
So there isn't really an approved, right? It's we're just a bunch of documents. We don't really decide who uses them or if like we have several different competing standards for URLs, for example. We don't make really any judgment calls on them other than like, do we think they're reasonable? So it's kind of up to you guys to like find and convince people to implement it.
So then what exactly is the difference between like just merging it into the repo and last call?
That's kind of an indication of how complete it is. So
Okay.
after we merge this in draft, that's kind of a signal that you're starting the process. Once you put it into review, that's generally when you're signaling to everybody that like, hey, the standard is ready for you to try making a prototype of. And then last call and final are basically like, we're done. We're not making any more changes. This is the absolute last chance you have to bring up any concerns before it's released to the wild.
Okay. I got you. How often do these meetings happen so I can get this changed?
Every 2 weeks, but feel free to just ping me or whatever if you need me to take another look.
Okay.
I'm on Discord and Twitter and
Yeah, absolutely.
the only place you can't ping me is on the EIP's repository because I get so many emails from
I'm
it.
sure you do.
Yeah. There we go.
I appreciate y'all taking the time to look through mine.
I love how broken the GitHub UI gets. It's great. Okay, so I think we're good. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up. If I did, let me know.
Awesome. So this just approves it. I'll make the changes and then it can merge.
I just committed the changes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it should just go in on its own unless I, broke something. But hopefully I didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So we are joined by next like a group of authors for the proposal 6672. I just have shared link in the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for, yeah. All right, so what have we got going on here? We've got some spam, I think. Is this part of your team or is this spam?
That's a good question. We have a lot of people here from that particular group. I don't know, Archie, Randy, Boy, anyone would
Randy
like to
will-
maybe,
Yeah.
talk about the proposal?
Randy, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we are from Redreamer. We are the one that proposed the EIP 6672. So basically, this proposal is about multi-redeemable NFT. So we already in the redemption protocol vertical for years, and we also see that there was a protocol called EIP called 5560, but that EIP is only works in specific scenario. So what we are proposing here is like to improve that EIP and try to create some standard that can be used in multiple scenarios.
Okay, cool. Cool. So, my first question is this person part of your team?
Yes.
The last one.
Yeah, the Cynic 1 person here.
Oh, nope.
No?
No.
Okay.
no.
Yeah, we get a lot of spam. All right. Okay, so redeem in this context means like you have an NFT that's like, let's say a ticket that you can exchange for a physical object. So multi-redeemable means you can exchange it for multiple physical objects.
Yep.
So
More for physical
okay.
experience or projects. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so go. Okay. C5660. There was only one time redemption of NFTs. Okay. Yeah, so one. Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. ERC 6672 ERC. Okay, so because these ticks. Yeah, so when you're using code, like when it's a backtick, so like a code reference, you can use the exact interface name and it won't complain about it. Okay.
As for the example, do we like just like put the descriptions over here, or we can provide any, like, because we have done like several projects based on these scenarios, do we also is it okay we include the links, or we just like put the descriptions over here and it should
Just
be fine?
you just keep it hypothetical, like
Oh, okay, yeah, keep it hypothetical. Got it.
yeah, like you can just like you could definitely mention the project, but it won't let you link to it. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, this is just canceled. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Probably not even worth mentioning. Okay, get redemption IDs. List the redemptions created by the given operator for the given NFT. Operator. Okay, so this allows an operator to, so a single operator, so in this proposal, an operator is what? Like the party who is doing the exchange between like the NFT and the object, like the physical object, or okay.
Yes.
And then so each operator can also redeem the same NFT multiple times, not just once per operator.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the duplication is mainly they duplicated by the redemption ID. So if they want to like block certain like IDs for redemptioning twice, they can put the same IDs there so that it's the redemption ID is more of like an order ID as in e-commerce.
Yeah, okay. But redemption IDs aren't unique to an operator, so yeah, I mean that doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you require 165 here, but you don't actually say, at least I didn't see anywhere where you say that it needs to implement. Yeah, 165. Yeah, so I'd, okay, see 165. Body.
Yeah.
Or just don't require 165.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Pretty sure we update. Okay, so okay, the combination of is required to be used as the key in the redemption of like value pairs. Yeah, okay. So I think it's similar for most of these. So anything that's like a must or required or shall needs to be in the specification section, while the like justification for it is fine in the rationale section. Yeah, so like the idea is you should be able to just take the specification section, and with only that, you should be able to create a compliant implementation.
Mhm.
Okay, metadata choices. Okay, that's good. Additional information about redemption. See some top metadata extension. Okay, that looks. Yeah, so. Okay, it's compatible with EFC 721. That includes multi-redeemable. Okay, and then your interface was called just ERC 6672, so there's no I there. Um, Okay.
Yeah.
21. So I think it's just ERC. I don't think there was an I on there. Redeemable. Looks good. Yeah. This is a great reference implementation, by the way. I appreciate it. Okay. Needs discussion. So this is fine for a draft, but if you want to go past draft, you'll need to fill that out, obviously. Yeah, otherwise that looks great. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next step is we will like fix according to these like comments and like book another time or we just like
Somebody should hopefully look at it before.
okay.
You don't necessarily need to come on, but if somebody hasn't looked at it by the next meeting, feel free to just bring it back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so this proposal is for moving into review status, I guess, and we are joined by the author here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you just need another author to approve it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, shouldn't have anything. Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thanks.
No problem. All right, let's go back to EIP IP.
So just to be clear here, Sam, did you mention that the PR number 6610 about 4844 that requires just another author's approval?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, Gachinder Singh, that's a note for you. Probably it's just waiting for another authors to be approved. And the next
sounds good.
Okay, and the next one is we are joined by authors of proposal 6239. I have shared the link in the chat.
Perfect. Hey, how's it going?
Jessica, I guess you are the right person to talk about proposal 6239.
Yes. Hi.
All right.
This is spam, I assume. This Muzaffar 015. It looks like spam. All right. Everything's passing. Everything's been updated. Okay, let's give this a read through. Okay, so okay. Okay, good. Social identity. Perfect. So why do you have separate create and update?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I think you also left this the question in the
Yeah,
blog,
that sounds
right?
like something I would ask.
Yeah. So that's separately defined these two events because the create RDF will be triggered when the token was first minted at the first time, and the update will be triggered when we are updating the RDF statement. So it means the statement, the RDF statement in the token can be updated. So it's a time difference, And the two events is makes it easier for the listeners to capture what happens and have the corresponding process of that after they listen the event.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So you're still leaving RDF data as like up to the implementer, right? It's not defined in the standard itself.
Yes, we'll leave it as to the implementer because the RDF is actually something that already been standardized, and it has own standard to describe integrate the schema and I missed the data schema. We did try to include a link here, but failed because it didn't accept external links. So actually, we intended to include something from the Web3C website page for a reference, so that the implementer can actually check the reference on how they're going to implement that.
Right. I mean, more specifically, like this struct here, which you have in the comment. Like RDF is fine if it's left outside the standard, like that's out of scope for the EIP process. But the struct itself for encoding RDF data, so this little blob here, that's not part of the standard, or is this something that should be left up to implementers as well?
I think that's not the standard of the RDF itself is not part of this standard.
Right. I'm talking specifically about the struct that I have highlighted here. So why isn't that struct part of the standard?
I'm not quite sure that I got the question, but I think here is because in the RDF there's actually different syntax, like somebody use turtle and somebody use the or. So we have multiple predicts here can be included to describe something. So we sometimes use with the array type here.
Okay. I'm not super familiar with Solidity, but can you compile an interface without this struct being defined? That's like, is that allowed? I mean, we can check that pretty easily. Actually, I don't want to diff at all. I want to view the file here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, unless it's defined or imported in one of the contracts, it wouldn't compile.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So that's probably my biggest concern is that there's if somebody is like using this standard and they want to write, say, I don't know, just a website that displays this RDF information for any generic token, they won't know what the structure of the RDF data struct is without like manually inspecting each contract.
So do you think it's better if we put some example implementations?
it's more, it's not about there being an example. It's about like, if I were to write like a DApp that displays RDF data for an arbitrary token, how do I know what RDF data here means? Like, if I want to display these updates or changes over time and I want to decode it, how do I know how to decode this this struct?
I see. Then we could add something to further explain about the RDF data.
Okay. Maybe I'm also just missing it. So if I'm like not understanding correctly, please feel free to call me out on it.
Okay. Actually, we did include the URI in the smart contract so that the data schema can actually be pointed to through the URI. So I think it's better to for the decoder to find those information there.
So you're talking about this one here?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be, so the schema URI describes how to decode this, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't describe how to decode this.
Okay, I got it.
I think, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know for sure.
Hey, can I jump in here? Just
Yeah.
a quick suggestion. Yeah. So can you scroll back up to the last? To this one. So if you have the RDF data, this needs to be defined when you're compiling the smart contract. Otherwise, you cannot call it. And if you're calling it from another smart contract, you don't have access to the internet for the smart contract to check, right? So you can't really use Oracle to get the structure in itself. So my suggestion is to go with a defined RFD data struct that covers all of the use cases. And if there are some fields, like for example, if you compare the last one, so the one that uses arrays of predicate and object, and the previous one that just has one predicate and one object, you can just use the one with arrays for that. And your arrays for predicate and object can be of size 1 if that's the case. This way, any smart contract can use this interface without worrying how it will work. And the issue here is if you support multiple RFD data structs, when compiled, you might get different interface identifier. So if you rely on programmatically checking whether or not the smart contract is has support for EIP 6239, then you wouldn't be able to do that. because you wouldn't be able to deterministically say this hash matches this one, because you would have 2 or possibly 3 different identifiers there.
I see. For the actual implementation, because we already did some implementation of the smart contract. So what you said, just have the array type there is good for the standard. For the we separate, because for the action implementation, it's a best practice to just include one statement, I mean.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion, because this way you could programmatically determine whether a smart contract complies to your standard or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless there's a reason to go with one of the other 2 options here, I would suggest just only defining this one and then making a note that says like it's best practice to use array of length 1 for predicate and object. And I think that would probably handle all 3 use cases. I'm not too sure about this one. Like this one seems very, very generic. But these other ones seem a little bit more specific. So if this one can encode everything that this one can, then I would just go with this one.
Okay, Ken.
Okay. So I think these are code blocks. Query the ID updated for submitted by token ID. So token ID should be updated for So we are planning on allowing links to W3C. We're just figuring out the specifics. So once we get that sorted out, you'll be able to link to it eventually. Okay. Update RDF. So for the update stuff, is it going to be common, like who is going to be doing the updates? Is it the person who deployed the token contract, or is it anybody?
It definitely cannot be anybody. But actually, when the implementers was firstly deploying the smart contract, they can define who is going to be update, or who is going to update RDF. It can be someone like the implementer and someone in the whitelist, or yeah, just they define it first.
Okay, so for contracts like ERC 20 and ERC 721, we generally don't include interfaces for minting or updating the metadata, because it's usually very unique to the implementation how to do that. So I'll make the same recommendation here, that you don't specify how to make changes to the RDF and leave it up to the implementers, unless you think it's going to be common for multiple dApps, like let's say I'm making, a token that has RDF information in it and I deploy it. How likely is it that another dApp is going to be changing the RDF of the token that I deployed? Because if that's going to be very uncommon, then I don't think you need to standardize it. But if it's going to be very common, you probably should standardize it. And that's up to you. I'm just a recommendation.
I see. It's not common for the others to update it, but for this own dApp, right? The users or the deployer of the smart contract, it might be common for them to update. For example, because this is in the social context, so there are many updates like following and unfollowing. Essentially, they can be common case, right?
Yeah. So the best place for a standard is when you have multiple different implementations trying to talk to each other. So if it's only ever going to be the deployer that's making the RDF updates, then you probably don't need to make a standard for it. But like reading the RDF stuff, that absolutely needs a standard, and I think that's great. So it's just if you don't want to deal with the update RDF stuff at all, you can just remove it from the standard, and it'll make it like a little bit smaller.
Okay.
But it's optional if you want to standardize it and you think it's going to be worthwhile. By all means, keep it in. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Update IDF. We still in the specification section here? I think we are. Yeah, okay, good. Good, remove IDF. Needs to be backticks. Okay. Okay, so this more like all right, so that's looking really good. Just a few comments on there. Yeah, thanks for coming out, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're moving to 6743.
Yeah, that's for last call here.
All right. Oops. Okay. Last call. Just make sure there's no active discussions going on.
Yeah, the last comment was 29 days ago.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let me just give this a read through. Non-transferable interface for non-fungible tokens. Okay. Okay, personal achievements. Yeah, that's good. NFTs are a critical aspect. We're talking NFTs to specific properties. Okay. 4654. Okay. All right, so I know this is really, really late in the game, but having a Boolean that's negated is always incredibly annoying from a developer standpoint, and I would very strongly recommend is transferable instead of is non-transferable. But that's entirely up to you guys.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, would you mind leaving the comment in the
Yeah.
discussion?
Yeah, I can do that. Wait, I don't think this is the right discussions right now. Here we go. Okay. Da, da, da. Good marking. Oh, you have a comment in here addressing my yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of the issues when you're defining booleans and integers in Solidity is the null default value, which means that it's always false. So if it's non-transferable, you have to set it to true.
It doesn't revert.
Yeah, I mean, if you set it to true, this means you actually did the action.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that, yeah, that looks good. And I have no
Great.
problem putting it into last call with my objection being noted. There we go.
Thank you.
No problem.
So we have 3 proposals here to be moved in the last call.
All right, let's take a look at these.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's moving into final. Okay. Doesn't seem to be a ton of discussion, so yeah, I guess this can move into final. Yeah. All right. Nope. 6,700.
Yeah, I guess by the same author. Yeah.
Also moving to final. Watch an asset. So this one I thought had some active discussion on it. Let's see. So it was 24 days ago. Okay, so let's actually give this a more thorough read. Wallet scope RPC, wallet watch asset. Okay. Just request any specified list. Why is there a 69 there? Transmitting by retreat indicate that the user was prompted. 49 shutdowns be $49, $48. Okay, the phone of the UK. ERC 1046 type. Phone at the options field is okay. All right, and I think that's pretty much all the time I have today. So I will see you all in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. Just to let you know, there are four proposal in last call and one more in final call waiting for review. So if you get a chance to maybe take a look offline, that would be awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us today and hope to see you in 2 weeks. Have a good one, everyone.